guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Michelle and I make videos all about photography with a lot of focus on the business side of photography. So thank you for clicking on today's video. If you clicked on this video, then I'm thinking that you're probably thinking about starting a senior rep team or senior model team or senior rep program. They're all interchangeable terms and I'm so excited for you. I love seniors. That's what I'm known for. That's what I specialize in, is high school senior portrait photography. And after many years of having senior model teams, I have learned a thing or two about them, and there's might be a lot more involved than what you're prepared for, but that doesn't mean you should not do that. So I hope by the end of this video you get more clarity on whether or not you should start one for yourself. So first, I want to talk to you about what is possible with a team and why I love them so much. One of the biggest benefits is you can pre-fill your calendar. So my model team members are full paying clients, and so part of their perk is that they get priority scheduling, meaning I open the books to them first. So they get to pick the dates that they want the most first before I open them to the public. And that way, once I do open them to the public, I'm oftentimes booked months out in advance. And it just creates this urgency for people outside, like normal seniors clients, to book with me quick because I look like I'm in high demand, because technically I am, right? I am booked those months. You want to look booked out. No, a client wants to be with a photographer that is popular, that is busy, that just shows confidence and trust. Plus, you're guaranteed those clients, right? So if you have like 10 on your team, you're guaranteed at least 10 senior clients for the year. And so that is so amazing and is so comforting, especially in a creative job where things and paychecks can be a little here and there. It's not always consistent. So having a team can really supply stability and consistency and payments. And along the same lines is I can get income coming in during my slow months. So I recruit in the winter time, which for me is where I'm photographing the least. It's the slowest season for me, so I'm not photographing as much clients, so I recruit my team then. And then also I have benefits for them to pay into their senior portraits early. So if they want to do a payment plan or just pay in full early, I give them benefits to doing that. So a lot of my team members take advantage of that. And so what that does for me is I get money coming in and cash flow coming in when I'm not photographing as much. Again, it's offering me stability. It's offering me money in the slow months. It's a huge advantage, especially in this creative field, to give you a little bit more footing a little more to stand on, basically, and gives you a little more assurance in your income. Another thing that's possible with having a team, which is probably your biggest incentive and why you're thinking about it, is if done right, a model team can exponentially increase your bookings. The senior portrait photography industry as a whole is so unique to itself, so different from all the other genres for so many reasons, which will be a whole other video. But for the sake of this video, the word of mouth can be so powerful in this industry. If the girl that you're photographing had a great experience, they'll tell their friends, and their friends will want to book with you. They're gonna wanna go to someone that they trust, that their friend trusts, especially in this age of influencers and affiliates and all that stuff. More than ever, people want to go with people that they trust. And then obviously the more girls you have from different schools, the better, because you can get in those networks. When you get into one school, you can blow up in that school, and you get another one, you can blow up, and it has the potential to change your business, I promise you. Having a team is the reason I attribute to going full-time in my photography business, at least in the area that I love the most, which is seniors. It's also a great way to stand out from other photographers in your area, especially if you're wanting to niche into senior photography, which is what I recommend, versus someone that can do, you know, family, senior, babies, do all the things. Seniors are special in the way that they're a little bit selfish. I say that in a sweet way, meaning that they don't really want to see, you know, families or babies on your page. They might like weddings because they're still thinking about their wedding. That might be okay. That's why you see a lot of wedding and senior photographers, because they go in hand really well. But for the most part, seniors are going to go to photographers that they see senior portrait work on. And so having a team enables you to have so much content, and it has so much more appeal to the senior that you're trying to attract. If you offer a really good team experience, you're just naturally going to stand out from other photographers that don't have the time or energy to offer something so exclusive because they're photographing so many other genres at once. But if you can really specialize, or if you want to specialize in seniors, I really highly highly recommended team. You're really able to just kind of put your stamp in your community about what you can offer and just like the overall service you can provide your clients. And the last thing I kind of want to touch on as far as dreaming about what's possible with a team is that it creates so much content opportunity for you. If you're really needing to portfolio build, maybe you just need more high school senior content on your page, then a team is amazing for that. You got girls that are ready, excited, willing to model for you. You can be more creative with the shoots that you do because you don't have the pressure of just this one senior session. You can do more stylized shoots, more editorial content, really showcase the work that you want to do. So I hope that's getting you really excited about starting a senior rep team. Now, before I leave this video, I have to give you a few caveats and things to consider before you dive into a rep team, a model program, whatever you want to call it, because there are a lot of things that I don't think photographers when they're first starting out or first starting a team realize. I want to make sure that you're well prepared to what you're getting yourself into. So let's discuss. So one of the things to consider before you take on a team is if you feel confident in your camera skills and your editing skills, because you really want to make sure you're delivering on these images and really giving a good impression to the clients and the models that you have, especially if they're paying clients and they're paying to be on your team. You really want to make sure that you feel like you can consistently give a good product. If you're still learning your camera and still learning editing, it might be really difficult to have a really good referral base or just a good experience for the girls if you're trying to learn that as well as take on a team. That can be a little overwhelming. I also would say that you kind of need to have a good client journey process in place. As long as you at least have like a few things in place, like your contract, how you like to proceed in your shoot, like how do you prep the senior, how the senior shoot's gonna go, and afterwards how you deliver the images, all that stuff. You kind of have to have at least a good skeleton base of your whole photography process that you feel confident with, because when you add a whole bunch of girls at once and all the other extra stuff that you're going to be promising them, if your client journey for the senior session itself is a mess, then it's going to be pretty chaotic. So I want you to at least, or if you don't have one right now, I would sit down, give yourself like 30 minutes of uninterrupted time and write down your client journey. Literally write down the things that happen when someone first reaches out to you and says, how much do you charge, all the way until they get their images or their products, depending if you're an in-person sales photographer or just a digital only photographer. So write down all the steps of what that looks like for a client's process, so that when you are talking to the girls about being on the team, that part is really solidified, because that's ultimately the main thing, is giving them a really good senior portrait experience above all else, because that's like, they only get to be a senior once. So you really want to make sure that that's intact and you feel pretty confident with that. You can always tweak it as the years go on. But again, I would say you need to feel at least like it's a smooth process in order to bring a whole bunch of girls on at once. Next thing to consider is probably one of the biggest things I want you to realistically think about. And that's that it takes a lot of extra time and planning to pull off a very successful model team program. And I don't want to discourage you too much, but it is a lot of work. I mean, it takes time, guys, to work with other boutiques or representatives, communicate with a group of people, including their parents. It takes a lot of time to plan these in advance outside of your normal workload. But if you're able to, with your lifestyle, or just maybe you're really efficient with your working and your photography, able to take on like the extra hours that it takes to plan events and plan photo shoots and all the things, then absolutely go for it. I love teams, but I just want you to make sure that you realistically have the time and the capacity to take on the extra planning that it takes to have a successful team. And I briefly just mentioned this, but another thing to consider is that you have to be able to communicate. You have to be someone that can communicate both with the teens and the parents well, but you need to communicate a lot and you need to be able to repeat yourself a little bit, stand firm in your decisions of dates and times and stuff, because when you're coordinating multiple girls, maybe you're coordinating their outfits and photo shoots times and making sure they don't overlap and everybody gets the proper amount of images, like it can be a lot. So either be able to have somebody that's really good with planning and organized, be able to be on your team, or maybe a friend that can help you out with stuff like that, or you yourself just need to be really organized and be able to communicate well. Write down how you're going to communicate with your teens and parents, and how often, just a rough estimate of how often, keep them in the loop. Because another caveat is if you, let's say you only do like a couple shoots throughout the year, which is totally fine, but if you don't talk to your team at all in between those months and months of shoots, then one, the excitement for your team is going to go way down, the momentum is going to go way down. Also, you just will have a lot of confusion because people, when there's lots of space in between, they forget maybe what they're supposed to do. So I would at least try to communicate with your girls like once a month maybe. Just those touch bases are going to make a huge difference to keeping everybody kind of in the loop. Okay, that brings me to my last point I want you to consider before you take on a team is I want you to define what a successful team means for you. I think a lot of people think you need to have a large team in order to have a successful model team, or you need to have a ton of referrals coming your way in order for that team to be successful. And that's just not true. And that's actually what we're gonna talk about next week. I'm gonna talk about the biggest mistake I see photographers make when doing a senior model team or rep team program. Again, all interchangeable. I should have just picked one for this, for this video. But you need to define what successful means to you. Does that just mean like portfolio building where you're getting a lot of content for your social media platforms? Is it having paid clients that are guaranteed? Is it having more referrals coming into your business? All those factors are going to be huge in, kind of structuring what your senior rep team is going to look like and defining whether it was successful for you or not. You don't need to have the biggest team. You don't need to have these huge fashion shows. You don't have to have the biggest events for a really good team. You can really just have a small core of girls that you serve really well throughout the year. Just build your content, help you just define your business more, the way your customer journey is, maybe your style, your editing. Any of those can be huge margins of success that you can measure that I would encourage you to think about on top of just the whole like bringing their friends to you. Of course, that's what people traditionally think of as model teams, but they can be so much more useful for you than just that. So just define what successful means to you, because trust me, if you do not do this step and you go through this whole year and you put in all this extra work, you are going to be so frustrated with your team and your business if it doesn't produce the outcome you're thinking of. If you've gotten any helpful content out of this video, please give this video a thumbs up. I know it's the typical YouTuber thing to say, but it really helps support my channel, and I have so many exciting things coming for you guys in 2022, and I have so much content already mapped out that I'm really excited and hope to help you really transform your photography business this year. And so leave me a comment below on if you're thinking about doing a senior model team or not, and maybe what your hesitations are or maybe your questions are, so I can help you answer that in a future video. And until then, guys, I would love for you to consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed already. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!